Welcome back to Mama's House Beach. It's Nikki Fuego.
And it's YoYo Isaiah.
Hope y'all having a good day, good night, good morning, whatever time it is that you listen. We hope you're doing good. Today we're going to be talking about Drag Race UK versus the World Beach, the drama, the tea, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything we got to go, girl.
Girl, that show was one note.
One fucking note, girl. One note with a bunch of brr.
I know, right? It was just stuttering, put all the way through, girl.
But not get on the tracks.
Okay. Really cool concept, UK versus the world. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know if it was a good concept.
I think it was, but it just wasn't executed literally at all correctly. And I think it just went too many different ways. Like they were trying to include too much and trying to push a lot of different narratives, and they just never really lined up. It was a mess, girl. Like somebody spilled the tea and didn't clean it up.
It was so I don't want to say it was so bad. I think there was some really elevated moments of the show.
Sure.
But overall, compared to regular season versus All Stars, even Untucked is more entertaining.
Okay.
It just felt like all the production took every shitty thing they knew how to do with editing and producing and was like, let's do it for this show.
Yep. And look where it got them.
Okay, like even the chatter online about it was just
I was just about to say, we ain't the only ones that felt that way because Twitter has been brutal.
Yeah, like everybody was like, what was that 6-episode season of just foolery and foolishness?
Yeah, it was almost like a filler season.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Is what it felt like. And they picked some really talented queens to be in this filler season. And I feel like it gave some of them a bad rep, girl.
I liked Jujubee. I mean, Jujubee's never like my fave,
sure.
But why? Why were you on the show?
Yeah. And why did that have to be your last one?
Seriously.
Of all of the ones that choose to be your last one, girl.
And somehow still made it to the end. So I don't know.
She tweeted, she was like, sometimes you got to know when to stop.
Okay, yeah. And
I was like, okay, production crew, take a note.
I wouldn't be surprised if Juju ends up on RuPaul's production.
Girl, for real. Just back there being the director.
Okay, they're like, Juju, that you? Okay, let's get into like the overall production for the show. It started off really good.
So much potential.
The first episode, aside from when US came on the stage.
Yep.
The first episode was actually kind of good. Like,
yeah. Yep.
Jimbo popped off.
Yep. Started the season very strong, and I was gagged, gooped, and bewildered, bitch. I was obsessed for one episode.
Because I mean, I wasn't even going to watch it at first, and then you were like, yo, you have to see this show. It is like, and it was elevated. That's what I don't understand.
Yes.
The first episode was so much better than the rest of the season.
Yeah. And it was almost like, you know how like the first episodes of normal seasons are, you could tell it's the first episode.
Yeah.
That the first episode of this show felt like one of the like last 3 episodes where people were really coming on, because I mean, that look from Jimbo was just mind-boggling.
Right.
And to come in on that as your first look, like that's some power move. And every look after that, minus the drama, was banging and right on point and was again elevated. And that's what's so frustrating, because it's like that's one queen that really took their drag from their normal season and learned and took all the notes and feedback to heart and actually applied it and became a better performer.
Agreed.
Stage performer.
Yeah.
TV performer, not so much.
Not a lip syncer either, but
no, mama. I was like, girl, did you not? That's the one thing they didn't learn for their season.
Yeah, like practice all the things, you know what you're getting.
Part of me wondered though if that was part of their strategy, was to lose those so that they could have that evil moment that they wanted to have. And girl. Speaking of Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo had so much potential. When I think about memorable looks, the only person I think about is Jimbo.
Yeah.
Out of all of the queens on that season, and there's good ass queens like Mo Heart's, all of her costumes just missed it for me.
Yep, like, just a little bit.
Just barely missed it.
I agree.
Jujubee was like off the rack most of the time. Bag of chips, just that's not my aesthetic, so I don't know.
Yeah, she's very eclectic.
Yeah. I would say Pangina came through with some interesting looks too, but generally, and we'll get back to Jimbo in 1 second, but generally everybody was just kind of like missing one thing.
Yep.
Except for Jimbo.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why they stood out so much to me, because I mean, even the first one, they were like the best dressed on almost every single runway. And it's crazy because like their stage performance did not at all match their TV performance. Like whenever they're doing the interviews and stuff, it did not match what they were doing on stage. And that's what I feel a little like weird of. It's almost like Jimbo knew that they were best dressed and that they were doing really well. And it kind of went straight to their head and just kind of spiraled from there.
And we saw that in the regular season that Jimbo was in.
Yep.
Once he started obsessing over taking RuPaul's spot,
yes,
I was like, I think me and you had a conversation, and I was like, Nikki, Jimbo was going to fucking self-sabotage because they are starting to like get into that mindset that happened on their season.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna turn out good, and it did not.
No, and I remember you saying that because I was like gagging and gooping, and I was like, oh my God, they're so funny, and like they're keeking with RuPaul and going back and forth. And then when you brought it to perspective like that, I was like, oh, you're right. That is kind of like a little sus. And then literally the next episode, I was like watching it and I was remembering our conversation. And I was like, damn, she called that shit.
Okay, Jimbo, we love you. But girl, get it together on the competitive side. Like,
and it sucks because that comedy bit that they did for the talent show, hands down, my favorite talent show thing that's happened on any Drag Race season. My absolute favorite. I was crying, girl. I have not cried like that in a comedy bit in a while, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But I'm gonna challenge you. Go watch what is it? Drag Race España.
That's actually one season I haven't watched yet.
Girl, just jump straight to second season, second episode, and then come back to me and tell me what your favorite talent show Drag
Challenge
Race
accepted, Beach. I love that. Hell yeah.
Because bitch, you're gonna gag.
Oh, hell yes.
I think if Jimbo could have controlled the mental and the weight of the competition, like just, I don't want to say be yourself because maybe that's what Jimbo was doing. But
all themselves.
All the personalities. But if Jimbo would have just played the game, but not in this weird, satanic, sadistic, like, I want to eat your babies, that kind of way.
Yeah.
I honestly think Jimbo would have won.
Absolutely. I was totally predicting that they were going to win.
Yeah.
Even when the self-sabotage started, I was like, okay, maybe they're starting it and they'll pick it back up. Nope. Third to go home, Beach.
And then even when they came back for the reunion, had the attitude with Pangina still.
Yep. Which is so crazy. Like, it's so catty and like, Canadians are not known for being catty and rude. They're being nice and welcoming.
Okay. Well, not those Canadians.
What's also kind of that just made me realize that is one thing I noticed in production is they kept the bits in that were like stereotyping different parts of the world, or like assuming that the hate was going to come, like, oh, I can't go to Canada now, or oh, I can't go to Thailand now. And it's like, don't perpetuate that, don't enforce that and manifest that negative crap. Like,
yeah, they did that.
People aren't going to shame you from the country just because you disagree.
Yeah,
it's causing division, girl.
Ew. All right, well, that's Jimbo. Let us know your thoughts on Jimbo if you watch UK versus the World, because honestly, like we said, best looks, most realized conceptually, best talent show act.
I would say most original too.
Yeah, of course. That clown aesthetic, adding and then putting that drag into it really does something to the whole.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But Jimbo, we love you. Do better.
Yeah, right. Set a better example.
Yeah. Real quickly, can we just highlight how toxic it became in the first episode when the United States queens came on the stage?
Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some motherfucking shit? When that happened, I was like, whoa, that was a like complete 360 of what was going on. And in the energy, like everybody's energy just shifted.
It was so weird. Like everybody was like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. Oh, we have New Zealand representation. We have England. We have blah, blah, blah. US comes on like steak attitude. Like just imagine somebody walking, look like their ass stink, and they just switch it back and forth. Hair, raggedy, flipping. That's what I felt like when US came on stage. Like, oh, y'all about to stink this motherfucker up. And that's exactly what
she did. She went for the jugular on everybody, girl.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
no holding back. I was like, God damn. When she made the comment about somebody's first time in drag, when they're clearly on like a, if you will, all-stars type of show, like clearly ain't nobody coming into this show on the first day of drag, girl. Come on, don't say that shit. That's so mean.
Even all of the UK queens were like, what the fuck just happened?
Juju called it out in the interview. She was like, Monique.
But then started kikiing with her. So
Right,
and reading the girls.
Yep.
But US do better.
Right.
Like you can be competitive, compete against these other queens, and still have best interest in mind.
And be respectful about it.
I think Mo Hart's strategy coming in was to try to break them down on a mental level from the beginning. But all that did was make me not like Mo Hart from that moment.
So many choices were made, not great ones.
And and you know how I feel about the drama side of it. I know it's TV.
Yeah.
And drama is what pulls people in.
Yeah.
But when there's too much of it and not enough of the actual purpose of the show,
Yes.
the talent, the drag, the moving forward to see who's gonna, I get uninterested.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope this season is not going to be like this because I want to like it.
Purpose was the key word that you said there, because I feel like some of these seasons, when they're bad seasons, it's because they don't have a purpose.
Mhm.
It's like there's too many side quests, if you will, going on and not enough of the main character. And that's totally what I got with this season. It was almost like every episode was a different new plot and a new twist and a new, not even like a good twist, just like random, like out of the blue.
Yeah.
Blue.
There we go. Right out of the blue, hydrangea. You're next.
Bless. Woo.
Okay, you had some things about blue, right?
Yes, girl. There was something from the very beginning that kind of triggered me to think that Blue was going to be the villain of the season, because she was starting to really embrace that like innocent but not innocent narrative, where like people look at her and because she's like girly and bubbly and blue, like all of her stuff is like pastel, people think that she's like innocent or she's like super sweet and everything, but she really channels this like polar opposite. I don't know, it's just very villainous to me.
Yeah,
and
no, I get
like
it.
comic book villain. And when she did the thing with the Pangina heels, I literally, not kidding you, stood up in my house and I was walking around the place cursing because I was so gagged, and I could still hear the sound clip from 3 rooms away.
The Pangina edit was just nasty, tasteless, horrible production on the Drag Race Enterprise.
So uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. And Blue hit the nail on the head with her. They gave her a really weird like character development throughout the episode. Blue, nice, bubbly, like you said, pastel colors, like really bright in your face. And then like this whole secret horror, like nasty slut kind of energy. And then also made really shady decisions.
Yep.
So became literally the villain of the season.
And got praised for it.
Yeah, definitely.
And got a bigger platform, but she fucking won.
Yeah.
And she got a bigger platform. And whenever queens have done that in the past, it's been like total hate and total shutdown and total like holding them accountable, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
And that did not happen with even with Jimbo. Didn't happen with any of the queens this season.
I don't know if I feel the same way about like a Pangina sending Jimbo home as I do Blue sending Pangina home.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm saying like Jimbo's attitude.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Jimbo deserved it.
Absolutely.
Even though Jimbo should have stayed, like if Jimbo would have played correctly, you should always keep the strongest in the competition because it makes for a better show.
Yep.
Then also like you're not losing against somebody you already know you can beat.
Exactly.
Although that doesn't have to be your strategy.
Yeah.
I feel like they tried to use Pangina sending Jimbo home as an excuse to send Pangina home, but the motives were completely different.
And the entire integrity was different, and the intentions were different with both of those queens.
Yep. Pangina sent Jimbo home because Jimbo was crazy. Was stirring
losing
the pot.
her mind.
Yeah, losing the mind, causing drama, just being really over the top. Blue sent Pangina home because she knew that she was her toughest competition.
Yep.
And it's strategy. Everybody that's listening that says, well, it is a competition show. Okay, we all have opinions.
Yep. You know what I noticed though? Just like they enhanced the sound bites of Pangina crying, they also enhanced the scenes in the clips of Blue looking very regretful and like looking like they were gonna lose their whole career. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna make a decision like that, that should not be your reaction when you make the decision. Because you're consciously making that decision. And if you're narrating in your head and talking about it and weighing the options, which all of them do, make your decision with confidence. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it and then be sorry for it, because that's not genuine. You're not really, you know what I mean? Like, especially in a scene like that and with that many eyes on them, they knew what kind of show they were on, girl.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit.
Bet.
So of course we all make decisions and we all
Yes.
think it's gonna go a certain way. But do you think that Blue anticipated Pangina's reaction?
Clearly she didn't, but she should have, because after having the one-on-one that they had with each other, she could tell that Pangina really wanted to be there and clearly came out to fucking slay with that outfit. And so I don't know, there's a little bit in me that knew or thinks that she knew that it was going to be a negative reaction. I just don't think she could take the heat. You know what I mean? Like some people spit a game and then they can't actually take the heat when it comes back to them.
Yeah, I mean, RuPaul said you die by the sword, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yep.
And that bitch won.
Oh, fucking infuriating.
So, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Blue made the right decision to send Pangina home. Sure. I still think, like I said, the production, y'all did Pangina real dirty. Like that sound, that was probably the most uncomfortable I've ever felt watching Drag Race out of every single season.
I would even say most uncomfortable I felt watching a TV show in a really long time.
I felt so gutted. I don't know. It felt.
I feel like it made it worse because it was real. Like with other TV shows and stuff, it's not like 100% real. It's usually like made up stories and stuff like that. True. But with this, it's like real life. That affected her in real life. Like that made a difference on her career. And I feel like that's why they milked it.
They should have did a reunion for that show.
Yeah. I wonder why they didn't.
Yeah.
They probably didn't have enough security, girl.
The Blue situation, I always have to play two sides of it because I know it's a competition.
Yeah. I
think the show could have been better if different decisions were made. Imagine if we saw the rest of Jimbo's looks. Imagine if we saw the rest of Pangina's performances. Just imagine those things.
Yeah.
And not to hate on any of the other girls. Like I love Bag of Chips. I think Bag of Chips has a lot of star quality, but it's niche. Like you have to like that style of drag. And
it's very British. And it's
true.
Like very stylized to the British culture and everything. So it's not always received around the world.
Yeah.
Which is part of that representation too.
From my perspective, I would have liked Baga to leave earlier to leave space for Jimbo and Pangina. And, you know,
I think they left Baga in for the vulnerability because they were really the only one being super vulnerable that whole season, except Blue when they were talking about the whole might be trans, not trans thing.
Yeah.
But Baga was really like from the start to finish was really kind of being grateful for everything that they had just went through with their previous season.
True.
And the fame that they got and stuff like that and how they've handled it and just being open about addiction and like
drinking.
Their whole life away it was crazy.
There was somebody else on there that had a drinking. Oh, Jujubee. Yeah.
Yep.
That was the whole moment there.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, I feel them because, you know, I used to be a heavy ass drinker.
Right.
And I couldn't even tell you guys the last time I had a drink.
Amen. Hallelujah. Yes, God.
Don't need it. But I mean, yeah, you're right. Baga did have the heart story.
Yep.
Like, you know, have the emotional aspect of the show, but I don't think it was enough. Not that it wasn't. I don't want to devalue her story. I'm talking about from the whole
cast perspective
and just the overall thing of the show. They had all the elements, but nothing stuck like it should have.
Yeah. I feel like it was kind of a weird cast too to pin against each other. Like it didn't 100% all make sense.
Yeah.
It was almost like, well, these queens need a gig and we don't have anything else, so we're going to make this show. That's kind of what it felt like.
After episode 2, I was like, yeah, that's what this turned into.
It was like one of those shows that should have just stayed on WoW Plus Presents.
Oh, Lord. Well, I mean, as we talk about it, I don't even understand the concept of the show anymore.
Right.
UK versus the world. What? Yeah. Maybe it was just a way to slowly introduce UK into the US Drag Race franchise,
like bridge that gap.
Yeah, because if you haven't seen the All Stars Meet the Queens yet,
right,
then go watch that.
Yes,
I think that's that segue.
Are you talking about the All Stars or the All Winners?
All Winners. All Winners.
Yeah, that All Winners cast, girl. Holy
shit! It's gonna be a good
season.
Holy
shit! It's gonna be a good season.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do a reaction. We should probably we'll talk about that in a different episode, y'all. But if y'all have not seen it yet, go watch it because
it's sound the alarms.
What else about the show really stuck out to you?
Really, the fashion was really pretty on point. Like everybody kind of put their best foot for most of them put their best foot forward when it came to the runways. A few of them were a little pedestrian and a little like, what this is supposed to be like a celebrity show, if you will. I don't know. I can't get over Jimbo's look and his comedy acts. It's literally at the peak for me.
Yeah, I can't really remember too many people's outfits, and that usually means that it doesn't have that impact. And it also could come from a style standpoint as well. Like
Sure.
Jimbo has that aesthetic that I kind of like. So that
Yeah.
leather, chains, dark, mysterious. Like, you know,
Janie Jackie did not do anything for me.
Yeah, Janie Jackie has this like. There's a certain type of gay that's in every circle that has like this weird attitude.
Yes.
That you can't quite pin. Like, bitch, why are you mad right now?
Jan.
Yeah. So Janie Jackie has that attitude, and I don't like it. I don't know.
I agree.
I think we covered most of the highlights of the season. I would say if you have nothing else to watch, then go ahead and watch UK versus the World. And
if you're caught up on everything else,
Yeah.
all of your Netflix shows, all your Hulu shows, all your
but I think you definitely could wait on it.
Yes. I would not rush.
And no shade, no tea. Congratulations to Blue Hydrangea on the win.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys haven't seen it. We just spoiled the whole damn show for you. Overall, interesting concept. Don't really understand it. Thought I would understand it more as it went. UK versus the World. Having most of the cast be from the UK, and then the only two people who weren't from the UK were from the US, really didn't. UK versus the world, that doesn't make sense anymore.
Yep. It's like perpetuating the whole idea that America is the best country in the world.
Yeah, which was really weird. If it was going to be UK versus the world, there should have been teams, like, you know, 4 UK people against all the other.
That would be really cool, like teams.
Yeah, they should do drag teams.
Wow. You know what Bianca Del Rio said? They tried to invite her and Detox to this winners season. And they said on TikTok they were doing interviews with podcasts, and she's like, I don't want to do the same season over and over and over and over again. That's why I keep turning them down for All Stars and stuff, because it's nothing new. Why don't you get into our real lives? Why don't we do like real world challenge type of stuff? Why don't we do like all of these like actual reality shows, but in drag, and really put us in the mainstream? Because right now we're in mainstream, but we're in just our lane. We're not in these other categories, and we're not really mainstream. And I thought that was really like a great perspective, because imagine, I always say that there's never a reality show with a bunch of LGBT people, but imagine a TV show with a bunch of LGBT people. That would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, there would be so much entertainment.
Talk about real life drama. Put them all
Girl,
in the house.
That's what I'm saying.
The drag house in LA, they have to book, they have to get gigs, they have
Yes,
storylines.
Oh my God, yes.
And like, you still get into the whole like travel with me. Like, oh, I have to fly out to here, the photo shoots, like get us into what happens after Drag Race.
Exactly. That's what I've wanted since the very first time I watched Drag Race. I was like, okay, so like they go on a tour after this show. Like, where's that shit?
That's a really good point from Bianca Del Rio.
Yeah.
Because you can get on the show and just compete. Same format, throw in a chocolate bar, throw in this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just switch it up. But you're not showing anything different.
And you're not getting to know that queen. Like, really, like we get to see a glimpse into their lives with these shows. But we don't get to see like exactly who they are and what they stand for, and the people around them. Because I feel like the people around you say a lot about you.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe one day it'll take the feedback.
Yeah, maybe they should take all the winners and then do a reality house.
Yeah. And Detox said similar thing too, that he's the one that brought up the real world road challenges, like MTV stuff.
Oh yeah.
And do like actual physical stuff like that, but in drag. It would be hilarious.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. So funny.
All right, everybody. Well, that's it about UK versus the World. If you haven't watched it, like I said earlier, you can wait, but if you're into the whole Drag Race fandom and you want to understand what we're talking about, go out and watch it. If you've already seen the show, then leave us a comment or two and let us know your thoughts on the whole show. Like, are we just crazy?
Agree, disagree?
Right. Did we see something different that everybody else didn't see? But let us know in the comments, because UK versus the World was fucking tragic.
Yeah, very traumatized.
And Pangina, I love you.
Yes, we stand Pangina.
No, seriously, I actually found a clip from when we went to DragCon in 2019, and Pangina was in the Marilyn Monroe costume dancing down the middle aisle to the stage.
No way.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was Pangina?
Yes, and she did the whacking and then jumped in the air and did the splits and everything. Yes, that was Pangina.
Oh my God. So uneducated.
We'll post it as a reel or a short, because this is an audio only episode.
Wow, that's amazing. I still think about walking out of that place next to Monique Hart. it was right as we were leaving and we were waiting for Hillary to catch up. And I was walking and I was strutting. I was like, this person is strutting at the same speed as me. And I look over and it's Monique Hart. And she's just like, hi. And I was like, hi.
All right. Well, follow us on our socials.
Yes.
Mainly YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Stay up to date with our shorts, our reels, new episodes coming soon. We're getting back into a groove.
Yep.
All at Mama's house.
Hell yeah, beach.
That's it.
I love that. I love it.
Hell yeah, beach. All right. Well, we will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.